It opened up a whole world of sailing destinations, just from anywhere from weekends to several weeks.
Just getting out there and seeing this wonderful space in the world that we live in.
It just becomes a way of life. You're not supposed to cry when you talk about a yacht club.
Hi, my name is Carrie Clark, and I've been a member of the Yacht Club since the late 70s, so that's a long time. I'm glad to be here.
My name is Doug Poulin. I joined the Yacht Club in 1983, and I had a 25-foot sangster called the Lady Di, named after my wife.
I joined the Yacht Club in 1978. Prior to that, I started sailing in 1975. I learned how to sail through the COIA White Sail Program.
My name is Allison Parker. I am the first daughter for Al Ray. We started boating on the Welcome Islands. My grandmother used to have a log cabin there, and that's when we first started on the lake.
I'm Buddy Saunders. I started power boating in 1964, and my wife Barbara and I and my kids David and Jane lived basically on Lake Superior. By 1970 I had 2 power boats, and I was into what I really had started out to do was sail.
My name is Rachel Kavachis, and I started boating in 1991 or 2 with my husband Nick. We started on a power boat and we loved it immediately.
My name is Deanie Craig. My husband was Andy Craig, and our first boating experience here was a kind of a ditch burn rum runner type that he redid, and then we progressed from there to a 47-foot Chris Craft.
My first experience on the water, can't definitely pin it down, but it was 2-3 years old, 52, 53. I joined in 1971. That was after I finished building my boat. I sort of got interested in sailing, and took the Power Squadron course, and the instructor was Dr. Jerry Ski, who asked me to go racing with him. Got interested in the sailboat. I had been out a couple of times on smaller boats. Then, it's the way to go.
I'm Craig McDonald, and I joined the club perhaps 1973, I believe, partly because of I had been crewing for Jim Massey for at least a season, and had become very interested in sailing, and had at that time had a boat on order that was going to require the facilities that the club could offer, and also I wanted to participate in the sail racing program. So since that time I've served as a member of the executive of the club over a number of years, culminating in the Commodoreship in 1979. Well, initially the sail racing was important because it provided an opportunity for me to gain skills and experience that I might not otherwise have. Racers, as you know, race when the weather's bad and good, and that gave me the confidence to go sailing in this beautiful part of Lake Superior with my family, and to attend club organized venues.
I guess 1984, 3 of us went down the shore. We used to try to travel in a group of 2 or 3. We went to Rossport, and at that time that was quite a trip. The first time I went down there, I didn't even have charts. The main reason when we went, it was like it was a family thing. We went with our kids. We had a hell of a good time.
My husband was a scuba diver, so he had been to Auroral and was on the water before, but we were unfamiliar. So we bought an old 28-foot boat that he had to pretty much redo from the bottom up. That was to me like another woman, because he did nothing but go work on his boat. So I hated that boat when we first put it in the water. But we went to Thompson Island. The first day, it was magical there. It was like a movie set. And instantly the family and we loved it immediately.
Family was very close because we were together every single weekend, and I had 4 brothers and a sister, and we did everything together. We kind of pioneered on Flatland Island and with Murray families, and we just all grew up together and we were very close.
Kids have always been part of it, going up the shore, and even the grandkids, that's all they wait for now. We just go cruising and they would find things to do and just enjoyed it. I think the first long distance trip we took them was around the lake, was a 1-month trip.
I think most particularly just getting out there and seeing this wonderful space in the world that we live in. We can go anywhere. I've sailed all over the place. And I always come back to the fact that this has got to be one of the most incredibly beautiful areas to sail in. It's just been one adventure after the other, going up and down the lake.
When we first started going to Spar Island, there weren't too many of us. There was just a very small dock, and there was a big flood at the old Fort William one year, and a lot of material floated down the river, so they took a lot of it out there and built a cabin. And then we made trails. There's wonderful trails all over. You go to the top of the world and you can see all over the place. And then there's another trail to what we call the other side, and that's really great. If it's rough, the waves roll in there, and it was really, really very good.
Oh, I don't think I would have done nearly as much boating, just as an individual. It opened up a whole world of sailing, destinations, just from anywhere from weekends to several weeks.
Technically, mechanically, it's changed. The essence of boating, I don't think has changed. The essence of boating is destinations and camaraderie, and just as what you have in this club today, that's what we had back in the 50s and 60s and whatever. That hasn't changed.
One thing that we noticed about boating right away, and we were involved with the Yacht Club from the beginning, is that boaters are different than everybody else. If you have any problems, people are there with their tools, with their know-how. They're ready to put their backs into it. When you're on the lake and there's other boaters out there, there's always somebody to help you out. And it's the same thing in the yard here. I see that there's some younger people getting boats now and younger families. And what's going to happen, of course, is like what has always happened is, the older people have done their work and someone comes up and takes their place and starts to handle the responsibilities as well.
I think the thing that I really should emphasize is the work that Richard did to bring us into where we are today, because he really did a lot. He was a real leader in many opportunities that opened the doors, and he had a great imagination about where we could go with the club and what we could do with boating. In the early days when we were more interested in just doing some cruising and getting to know the lake, and before we knew it, we were into the summer games, which meant that there was a lot of community involvement there. There was huge community involvement in that. And actually the city did come to the Yacht Club with the option of the CN station. And there's some really interesting pictures of just how bare bones that place was. They got a grant, they got an Ontario grant for $100,000, but that wasn't the real contributing factor. The real contributing factor was the volunteer work that was put in by the members of the club, just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours. And lots of professional people in the club stepped up and helped and so on.
Well, I think the 70th anniversary is a testament to the people who founded the club in the 40s and grew that club through their own enthusiasm to what it is today. We've grown to a club size that we now need to hire the kind of help that we need. In the old days, the Commodore was the guy at the bottom of the ditch with the shovel, because if you were putting power or water from place to place, that's the kind of thing that went on.
It's exciting to see how my father's history is still there and to see how it has grown so much. And he would be very, very proud to see the Yacht Club now with the number of members that are here and how it has been kept up. And it all started from very little small docks and people's dreams to have boat club together, and that they could count on one another and have help on the lake if you needed it.
I don't know, I just feel the Yacht Club feels like almost like a second home. I've got several camps around, as you probably know. The yacht club is almost sort of like that. You know, it's a place to come and be with people.
There has been continuity throughout. From the beginning of the club, there was the poorest guy with a rowboat was a member, and the wealthiest in town were there, and they would get together for social events and whatever. So the basic aspects of it, I don't believe has changed. Yes, the technology has changed, but the why people are here hasn't. With the Thunder Bay Yacht Club, when they built it, it was a big thing. There was excitement in my family when they were buying this property. And I remember my dad saying that my dad signed the offer to purchase for this and saying, we have to be able to sell this. And then they were selling bonds. There was energy. There's always been core groups that kept the club alive. And I remember core groups, past. And it's just the continuity of the whole thing. It's terrific.
The boating experience, it's very fulfilling in a way, and you meet a lot of really great people out on the lake. You go to places that people here in Thunder Bay never see. Just even going to the welcomes, a lot of people never go that far. And you can make yourself happy or unhappy doing it. It just depends on you.
It becomes a way of life, that boating and just meeting the people and helping them out and giving your experience. You know, the knowledge I have, just trade on and give on to some other person.
The only ones that don't come in are scared of the rocks. It's very rocky, I think, as you found out. I thought I'd get that in there too. You can edit that if you want.
Yeah,
but you are not the only one.